Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the King Win 4 charity event. And guys, we are finally in the round of 4. We've had lots of exciting round of 8 matches, but in this round of 4, we have some of the best players in the world. Our first match will be Neirea versus Firebat, and then right after, we'll be bringing you the winner of the last match, Masan versus Kalento. So just an all-star round of 4 lineup once again, as can be expected from an all-star lineup of players in this entire tournament.
Yeah, I mean, Masan really showing that he hasn't lost his touch after coming back from the military training in South Korea. He's been out of the scene for quite a while, so it's really nice to see him perform that well in this first tournament. So also, I'd like to point out before we move on to the games, what the tournament has been organized for. It's been organized for the sake of Child's Play Foundation. It's a charity, you know, we're giving them, all the donations that are funneled through will go directly to the children in the hospitals who want to buy games and toys, and basically they'll get access to stuff to play with in order to make their time in the hospital a little easier. So the cause is good, it hits close to home, so if you want to donate for that, feel free to do so. Every bit helps. You don't have to donate, $300 at a time. So
Although it'd be appreciated.
Keep that in mind. Yeah, that would be nice, but you don't have to, even if you give a little is better than nothing. That's all that counts. So, Neirea having in his tournament really nice performance, and last week he had 2 disconnects, I believe, which led him to just lose the first time we casted this tournament. And he's done amazing since we've had to redo the games after the DDoS issues. His rogue deck in particular is something I've had a lot of interest in.
Yeah, rogue, just not a very popular class at the moment, but a lot of people are trying out new ways to build rogue. Neirea's particular version, his particular take on it, is very aggressive. It's kind of like a combo rogue, which aims to survive early game, draw a lot of cards with preparation, sprint, and then just kill off your opponent in one fell swoop with Tinker, Sharpsword, Oil combos.
Yeah, it feels like the prep sprint is the new Gadgetzan in a way. It's always been there, but it was always a little less effective than the Gadgetzan Auctioneer in and of itself. Because sometimes with the Gadgetzan you could draw, way more than 4 cards, and you had the body. In this case now we have to surrender the body for the sake of having just, straight up burst of 4 cards guaranteed in one play. Which you could argue is in certain situations almost a bit better. Because you don't rely on that one specific card to win you games. It's a really nice approach. Now, both players are banning Druid from the other's lineup. So Neirea's lineup is Rogue, Priest, Warrior, Druid. Druid's been banned. Firebat's lineup is Hunter, Mage, Paladin, Druid, and his Druid was banned. That's a very diverse lineup for both players.
Yeah, a lot of these players are just both bringing what they think is good, and we're going to find out in this next match who indeed had the better lineup. The game is about to begin, and we're about to begin with Rogue versus Paladin as the first match.
Oh wow! I can't help but think to myself, the Rogue better get a massive burst combo. I mean, he's playing Blade Flurries. No fan of knives for the muster for battle, as far as I'm aware.
Well, just because I know this list,
yeah,
it does have one fan of knives at least.
Okay, I think it makes a lot of sense considering the metagame as a whole. Like, you want to be able to deal with those haunted creepers. Muster for battle also being an excessively problematic card in general.
All right. I think we have to talk a bit about Firebat's deck. We haven't seen this deck yet in this entire tournament, but we just saw a lot of interesting cards in the deck. We saw Humility, we saw Terran Bloodhoof, we saw Guardian of Kings, and there's Deathlord in his hand right now.
Yeah, Deathlord, not a card I expect to see very frequently, but it's definitely a good anti-aggro tech a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think this Paladin... Oh, 2 Guardian of Kings. I think this Paladin is just meant to be, like, pure anti-aggro, or pure, like, a super control deck that that wants to survive to the late game.
Yeah, I almost feel like... I think I've seen this deck from Firebat recently. I think it was during this tournament. He just played it and it lost automatically to some kind of control deck. So he just it was kind of thrown in the way in order to maybe win a game and sweep out of nowhere. It just didn't do anything, and it ended up going nowhere. So it seems to be very heavily teched against aggro.
I want to point out this Deathlord is like the best card you could get on turn 3 versus Rogue, because Rogue pretty much has very few ways to deal with it.
Yeah, right now there's actually no way for Neirea to handle it properly. He's going to deal at least 6 damage off of it. And I mean, even though the Rogue gets a minion out of it, it could be something very weak that he wants to combo with. Think Azure Drake for card draw. Think of even, weaker stuff like a South Sea deckhand. And, Humility, I think, actually plays very well into the Deathlord, because even if they It's kind of like playing 2 Shadow Word Death and Priest if you're running Death Lords and Death Rattle Priest, just to guarantee that whatever comes out of it, you're gonna have an answer to it.
Yeah, Neirea probably definitely wishes he had a sabotage last turn, by the way. If he had that, that would have been the most insane turn. Like, you kill a Death Lord, summon a minion, and kill your opponent's True Silver Champion, which had 2 charges.
I don't think it gets much better than this.
I take that any day, right?
Yep. And we're looking at the board right now. I mean, that Eviscerate is going to come in handy with the Blood Mage Thanos, perhaps, but this Assure Drake is just going to fall down again.
Yep, might as well Black Knight. Not many taunts in Neirea's deck, so you might as well use that for the 4/5 body.
I think the only thing he's running is something like a Sludge Belcher, which is probably the only thing that makes any sense in a deck like this. Alright, big game Hunter.
So I guess it's prep sprint time.
Which I do like. Oh, another prep. Hello.
Wow, you can actually clear this Death Lord now with that second prep. I'm not sure if it's worth it.
Is it worth it? Yeah, I was gonna say, is it really worth it to use a prep on this when you've got something like a Violet Teacher just waiting to be used?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about prepping this right now. I think, you have to sap Tyrion, right?
Yeah, eventually. But I think with this deck, one problem is that there's 2 Guardian Kings in Neirea's hand right now.
Yeah.
Or, sorry, in Firebat right now. So Neirea is hoping to burst his opponent down, but how can you do that against 2 Guardian of Kings?
Yeah, he's gonna be topped off for a few turns in a row, which is really gonna put you on a spot as the rogue player. And he sees the Guardian of Kings. He thinks to himself, "Wow, now I need to get even more damage with the Blade Flurry. This is gonna be a problem." And oh wow, okay. There's no card draw, so he has to make do with whatever he's got on the board at the moment.
This is pretty good though. Deadly Poison, Eviscerate, Death Lord. What can you get?
He has to score. He doesn't have another Sludge Belcher that I know of, does he?
No, I think there's only 1 Sludge Belcher in this deck, so he doesn't have any good options to any cards that he could get are going to be pretty bad. Goblin Auto Barber.
That is not what he wants to see. I think you have to sap the Guardian of Kings back to his hand, right?
Yeah, that doesn't feel that great though. So Neirea with this no, he's sapping back the Black Knight. Interesting. I guess he just really doesn't want his opponent to heal back because the burst damage is so important here.
That's all he's got. All he's got is the ability to perhaps burst next turn. Those 4/1/1s are going to pay dividends for a little bit if they do anything.
Yeah, I think they're gonna do something. This deck, man. You know, Firebat's always been regarded as the best deck builder in the Hearthstone community.
Yeah, I've always considered it so.
And we can... I don't know. We saw him doing really well with his Undertaker Druid. So this might be another hit. It's just Firebat taking this tournament so seriously just based on the fact that he's bringing such weird decks to it.
I mean, the only thing you're worried about as Firebat here has got to be a Blade Flurry, right? That's the only thing I could see that would scare you. And, you know, he has to have the Deadly Poison, number 2 or Tinker Sharpsword, and the Blade Flurry to make this work.
You could also have a second Deadly Poison plus the Blade Flurry. That would do.
Yeah, exactly. Well. He would need a combination of another weapon buff plus Blade Flurry.
Yeah, Firebat thought about that for a while.
And there is no Blade Flurry right now, and no card draw either, unless you go for the Blood Mage Thanos, SI7 it, and then hope for the best. But I don't see that as being a particularly good option.
Yeah, this is kind of funny. Firebat's deck is definitely the more controlling deck, but we see now that there's so much pressure put on Neirea.
Yeah, he's been able to be in the position of playing the beatdown.
What's gonna happen now?
We've got to see. I mean, putting down that SI7. Whoa.
Alright, what's he gonna steal?
Oh, 1/1.
That's the best option.
Expected value, 100%. Alright, so right now, Firebat is facing down a board that is actually quite dangerous for him. Oddly enough, because he doesn't have any more damage output in hand that we can see immediately. I like the Neirea playing the Blood Mage Thanos here just for the body, making sure he can get a card cycle. I think that is a really important play.
Yeah, Karen Bloodhair coming down.
such a good card. Like we talked about how this deck is good against aggro because of all the heals, because of humility. But Karen Bloodhoof is like one of the ultimate anti-control cards because against aggro it's kind of dead usually, but against control it's such a good body.
So as Neirea here, you know that your opponent has a Black Knight because you sent it back to his hand, right?
Mhm.
I mean, how much damage does Neirea have right now if we calculate? He's got 6, 7, 10, 11. He's got 11 on board. That's not nearly enough to do anything. Alright, he's going to try to draw a card off the Blood Mage. Ooh, Blade Flurry, a massive hit here.
That's a good one.
Yeah, a very good one, in fact. It's not going to win him the game necessarily, but it's going to help quite a bit. I mean, that Karen Bloodhoof, more frustrating than ever. You know, I would have almost considered Tinkers, but...
I think with Tinkers, you have to save that for the end game finisher, and you don't really want to use Tinkers on a one-charge weapon.
No, I understand that, definitely. It's just that it's such a problematic situation, because you're playing your Sludge Belcher guaranteed into the Black Knight of your opponent, and then he's going to finish it off with Karen, and you're going to have to rely on your 1/1s to basically carry you for the rest of the game.
Yeah, this is definitely not a situation Neirea wants to be in. He sends his opponent's Black Knight back in the hand, and now Neirea is going to get Black Knighted, obviously.
Then again, if you look at... Ooh, ouch. Okay, this is even worse. This is a good game, I think. Yeah, this is a good game. Lethal has been found with the Consecration.
Yeah.
This is exactly 6 damage. I was going to say, actually, Neirea had a pretty good chance of winning there if Consecration wasn't drawn. Because Black Knight means you can't play Sludge, and no Sludge means you can then follow up with Tinkers and hits for quite a substantial amount of damage if you combo it. So I think Neirea might have been able to eke out the win if it wasn't for that Consecration.
Yeah, definitely likely. In the next turn, who knows what Neirea could have drawn, and there were a lot of good outs for Neirea.
Yeah, definitely. So now we know that in Neirea's lineup there is a Priest, and you know, Priest is generally considered favored against Paladin. If he's running Shadow Word Pains, which I don't think we've seen when we've seen Neirea play his Priest. I haven't seen Shadow Word Pains, but those would be pretty good against something like a Deathlord.
Definitely, probably the best option. And also another card that's good against Deathlord, Cabal Shadow Priest.
Oh goodness, yeah, just getting that value. Oh, but there's a Stampeding Kodo in Firebat's deck, which you remember how long ago that was? The rampage of Stampeding Kodos and Humilities and Outdoor Peacekeepers just synergizing with one another. That is something I have not seen since GVG because of the Muster for Battle and Shielded Mini Bots taking slots up that otherwise would be used for those kind of combos and control.
Yeah, that's actually the weakness of modern Paladins these days. They don't have the Humility Stampeding Kodo combos, so they have a really hard time doing instant removal against big creatures like Ragnaros. Against Ragnaros, you have to pretty much rely on BGH or rely on a Quality Consecrate, and if you don't draw that BGH, a Quality Consecrate on a single Ragnaros doesn't feel that good.
Yeah, it used to be, like, a lot of people I used to talk to were telling me, hey man, why would you ever put BGH in Paladin pre-GVG? And I was always thinking to myself, well, it's a simpler way to remove things than using Humility Kodo. And it seemed to be a card that a lot of people didn't like in Pally, but since GVG it's been basically replacing those, 2 pieces combos that used to remove big creatures.
So Neirea will be picking the Priest in the next match. We're going to see how that goes.
I think it should go pretty well, hopefully. It seems to me like it's a pretty good matchup for him. So we do not see the mulligan, and the Coin Shield and Minibot here from Firebat right away, starting with high pressure. But that Northshire Cleric is going to be a pretty good card.
Yeah, that is going to be... It's going to kill off the shield. It's going to draw a card. I'd say pretty good overall.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, does Firebat even bother attacking into it? You just go face, right? There's no point attacking into it.
Yeah, attacking into it just basically lets your opponent... your opponent's going to attack into it anyway, so might as well just go for face, deal an extra 2 damage.
And the Alkanized Circle...
2 Shadow Word Deaths. That's exactly what Neirea doesn't want in this matchup.
It's not the worst, but not in this specific matchup. The only targets you've got... Well, surprisingly enough, Firebat has the exact 2 targets that you're going to be using that on, so...
Neirea's hand actually pretty bad right now.
Yeah.
I just want to say that the key card in this matchup, I would say, is probably Thoughtsteal.
Because
Thought
you
Steal
can get
choose
high value cards.
so many high value cards like Aldor Peacekeeper or Humility off of Thought Steal. It's going to be so amazing because you can combine it with the Cabal to basically steal anything in the Paladin has. There's also the possibility of stealing Tyrion, of stealing True Silver Champions, stealing Lay on Hands, so you can do something like Alkanai Soul Priest plus Lay on Hands, deal 8 damage plus draw 3 cards. I'd say it's pretty good.
Yeah, that's one of those. It's one of those odd combos. It's kind of like the Tree of Life combo that you sometimes find on ladder for the fun of it, or Healing Touch. Back in the days, you know, people could just Thought Steal Healing Touch and then Alkanai Soul Priest you. All right, so Neirea's gonna play second Alkanai Soul Priest right off the bat and put a little bit of damage into Firebat's face. I'm not exactly sure how that's gonna work out when you consider the board that Firebat's got. I mean, the hand that Firebat's got. Do you think it's worth it to just throw the second Alkanai there as a body?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like in this matchup, usually you want to save the Alkanai to clear Quartermasters and muster for battles, but I'm not sensing that Firebat runs either of those cards in this deck right now.
Yeah, we haven't seen them, and maybe Neirea understood that this was a bit more of a control-heavy Paladin with kind of older, you know, components to it, reminiscent of the older Paladin, pre-GVG Paladin decks, and maybe that's what he's, you know, counting on.
In fact, I feel like this is exactly pre-GVG Paladin with too many shielded mini bots added into it, to be honest.
That's exactly what it feels like. Yeah. The value here not going to be too bad off that Alkanai after all.
Yeah, not too bad, but usually a bit more than what you expect off of Alkanai, especially in this matchup.
Yeah, it did eat up an Aldor Peacekeeper, so... Alright, Stampede and Koda will come out and munch on that Alkanai Soul Priest's face, so no more Soul Priest for you. And back to the 1-1 spam. This reminds me of the Control Warrior Nightmare, where you get overrun by 1-1s that you just cannot handle. They whittle down at your health for the entire game, and then you just die.
Yeah, again, Neirea still doesn't have those Thought Steals, and without those Thought Steals, I feel like the Priest deck is just generally slightly weaker than the Paladin deck.
Yeah, I think it's kind of funny to say that the Priestess win condition is to go fetch cards from the other player's deck. Oh,
but man,
that Shrinkmeister.
Shrinkmaster's a good card.
That's a good card if I've ever seen one, but then again, what is it going to steal right now?
I think Tyrion right here is pretty good. Your opponent can't mind control the next turn.
But he might just wait to mind control it afterwards.
Oh, I guess Kel'Thuzad is going to be pretty good too.
Yeah. Wow, that is actually a pretty high value play. You can just wipe the entire board, get your little 1-1s back, and kill that Nothshire Cleric.
It's alright, I guess, but Neirea has a good answer for it. Shadow Word Death, of course.
Yeah, I think this is, like you mentioned earlier, that Shadow Word Death was not going to give you any value, and that was true up until the point where we're at right now. If a Wild Pyromancer is top deck, it's going to be crazy here for Neirea. Oh! Wow.
Well,
oh! And this game might have just been stabilized from Neirea's perspective. Very nice card to have for him right now. I think if not one of the best. And there's also Mind Control coming right up for Tyrion or, you know, Sylvanas Windrunner. This is really good.
Yeah, even though it didn't look that great from the beginning, it's turning out pretty well for Neirea right now. He has in his remaining hand, he has a lot of these Cabal Shadow Priest, these high value cards like Cabal Shadow Priest, like the Shadow Word Death and Mind Control, and he also has a Shrinkmeister to combo with the Cabal Shadow Priest.
Yeah, so he can reach up for up to 4 attack, which means if a Sludge Belcher were played, he would have an answer to it. Wow, this is excessively funny. The very slow play from both players, but it's kind of necessary at this point. Oh, double Wild Pyromancer.
So, is Tyrion going to be played? We're going to see immediate mind control then afterwards.
You know what I like about this, though, is that Firebat can get Tyrion back through Sylvanas and Equality Wild Pyro, if the shield doesn't get pinged off.
Yeah, it's a lot of resources, though.
Yeah, it really is, but...
Think this is going to be the quickest mind control ever?
Yeah, I think it is. I don't think it gets any faster than this. Alright, so do you think this is a Sylvanas Equality Wild Pyro turn, or is that just... I mean, you want to get that weapon bag and that Tyrion back. You can't let him have it. It's too dangerous.
Okay, I guess he's going to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I
the
agree,
shield
though.
doesn't get buffed.
Yeah, you're guaranteed to steal the Tyrion, even though it's gonna remain as like a 6-1.
Mhm.
Still pretty good.
You really do need to get that weapon.
Holy Nova.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure I like any of the plays that Neirea has access to here. He's gonna have to
Oh.
drag on the game a little longer than he might feel comfortable with, but
That doesn't feel any good. I mean,
Yeah.
you could have played Vol'jin and made your Vol'jin a 6-1.
yay! Yay for
Yay.
value. Yay for incredible plays. And now that Guardian of Kings going to top off Firebat's health total.
Look at this deck. It runs 2 Guardian of Kings, 1 Layout Hands, and at least 1 anti-kill bot.
Anti-kill bot. That's a lot of healing.
Heals
And
for
look
days.
at that! Look at this right now. Neirea last turn using his Holy Nova means that his Vol'jin is not going to give him the value that he might want out of it. Because I feel like keeping the Nova for Vol'jin as a combo might be very good.
I think Nerea's thought process there was he kind of probably deduced that his opponent didn't have the Quartermaster Muster for Battle combo. So
Okay,
he can kind of use the Vol'jin right there at that moment, at least.
Yeah, and I guess he might have kept it for Deathlord, knowing that his opponent is running one, at least one. So
All right. These 2 Cabals have just been sitting in Nerea's hand the entire game.
he's waiting for that Deathlord to come out. And there's a Piloted Sky Golem in Firebat's deck. I think he's got 1 Piloted Sky Golem, 1 Karen Bloodhoof,
Mhm.
mixing
Yeah,
both together.
Sounds about right. Yeah, the funny thing is, like, Nerea can't deal with this Piloted Sky Golem either unless he Vol'jins for not that much value. Because he's used both Shadow Word Deaths, and he's
Yep.
used the Mind Control. So after you use both of those cards, what else do you have as a Priest player to get rid of these high-value minions?
Yeah, you have to wait. You have to wait it out. But you've seen most of. I think you've seen all the threats coming from Firebat. And when I say all the threats, I mean the high value threats that we usually think of when you think of threats. Sylvanas, Tyrion, Kel'Thuzad. Those have been played. So all he knows is that it's going to be a grinding game, coming down to card for card plays, and that might end up being very impactful. So depending on how he ends up playing it. So do you Vol'jin the Pilot Sky Golem here, or do you wait for something else? Because you've got the Cabal for the Deathlord if it does end up coming out.
It doesn't feel good, but I guess you do.
So
See
what
what
is he
comes
hoping
out.
for? Mini Mage? Oh, God.
Oh, that's one of the
Oh
worst
my
ones
goodness.
for Neirea. One of the best ones for Firebat.
Yeah. Neirea's
I-
face is just going absolute. Oh, he feels crushed. I can
I
tell in his
saw-
eyes.
Yeah, I saw a ranking of the 4 drops basically that come
Wait,
out of the Sky
What am I
Golem.
talking about? This is an amazing card for Neirea. He just has to Cabal it.
Oh, you're right.
What are we talking about? Oh no, he's hyper happy to do that.
What are we thinking?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know
you
what
want
they
the-
were thinking.
You want the best cards possible for your opponent, right?
Yeah, definitely. Wow. Oh goodness, this is good for him.
Yeah, but even if you Cabal it, basically the Guardian of Kings plus the Ashbringer can just strike those 2 cards down.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. But it's just a matter of having having the opportunity to do it. But now, I mean, Neirea's hand, if he doesn't, he'll have to get a good combo off the Shrinkmeister to get value out of anything.
You know what, Noxious? I actually think this game is over because unless Neirea gets an equality from
Mhm.
Thoughtsteal,
Thoughtsteal, there's no way he
He-
can just keep
there,
going.
there's no more board clears essentially.
Yeah,
like,
he's already
he's,
used up his Arcanine, and
Yeah, both Arcanines are gone. 1 circle is gone, so that's all the board clears in Priest deck. Holy Nova is not going to do anything against this board.
wow.
So Nerea's 1 out is Thoughtsteal. Shadow
And
Madness.
that doesn't begin to help. I mean, you have to Shrinkmeister that Yeti and take it, I guess. You have to at least try to have a counter board presence so you can get a Wild Pyro Shadow Madness play on the following turn. If he Thoughtsteals equality, that's going to be absolutely crazy, though.
Let me change
Oh.
your mind.
What is he keeping the Shrinkmeister for?
I'm not sure. He must be thinking that there is another card in Firebat's deck that has more value for Shrinkmeister, I guess.
I can't quite figure out what that would be, but Karen
Maybe,
Bloodhoof, I'm guessing. That's it. That's the
yeah.
only card.
Karen Bloodhoof would be a good choice. Maybe a Sludge Belcher if Firebat runs that.
But, I mean, right now, he's gonna have to Shadow Priest the Death Lord. Oh, goodness. This board from the Paladin is just absolutely crushing.
I think you trade here.
Yeah, just because. If he gets equality, at least you're safe.
Alright, is there going to be a Thought Steal into Equality? No, Holy Nova.
Wild Pyromancer Holy Nova is going to deal 3 damage only to his opponent, which is not enough. So maybe getting the Cabal Shadow Priest, but that's not going to help because the Iron Beak Owl will silence it off. I believe the game is going to go to Firebat.
Yeah, there's no way for him to clear up enough of the board, I believe.
Yeah, I can't think of any way for him to do so. I mean, he can heal up a little bit, but not enough that it's going to be meaningful. Yeah, the Consecration's still threatening lethal despite complete board wipe.
Neirea still deep in thought.
Yeah, he's trying to calculate if he can make anything, if he can make any magic happen with priest combos, but I don't see that as being very likely right now. I mean, you could, no, you couldn't. I was gonna say Cabal Shadow Priest, the Death Lord, and Shadow Madness, a 3/3 into a 5/4, or into the 5/5, and then hope for a good Wild Pyro Nova on the following turn. But that's fairly mediocre.
Yeah, Neirea just taking all his time that he needs to try to figure it out and out.
What about Shadow Madness? Nah, there's no winning this. There's no stabilizing this, basically.
You can Shadow Madness to try to clear off an Aldor, but yeah, it's not that good.
Alright, well that will be game. The Iron Beak Owl or the Black Knight will take care of that, the Death Lord. Firebat showing the top deck. Not that at this point, after you've dug your entire deck through though. Oh, there is a Sludge Belcher in that deck though. Alright.
Well played.
Yeah,
Paladin
not a
actually,
matchup I thought. Go
actually
that
beating
way.
Priest. I think a lot of it came down to, again, not drawing the Thought Steals, and Firebat getting that lay on hands, and just his kind of weird deck that he has.
He's got a really, really unique deck, and you know what really worries me for Neirea is that his next deck is the Warrior deck. His Druid was banned, and I don't know what kind of Warrior it is, but if it's his OTK, it might surprise. I mean, it might win against the Paladin, but if it is a more standard control Warrior, the old school controlled Paladin has such a massive edge on it. It wasn't even fair back in the days. So.
I feel like all control Paladins seem to do slightly well against Warrior just because they have so many answers. But especially this old style control Paladin, it has that extra humility Kodo combo, so it can deal with it has one more extra answer to threats such as Ragnaros.
Exactly, and between the healing, just the 1/1s, it sounds ridiculous to say so, but the 1/1s that the Paladin makes are much like totems for shamans. They eventually put a big threat on the warrior's mind, and he has to start answering them with weapons. And the last thing you want to do is do that. So we're going to jump into the game in a few seconds and see whether or not Neirea's warrior is going to be able to take it out against Firebat's Paladin. So far, this Paladin doing a lot of work for Firebat.
Yep. Seeing the opening hands, unfortunately it's not going to be OTK warrior, but we're going to see a fairly standard control warrior from Neirea.
Yeah, he's known for his trademark Raging Worgen OTK combo deck that he's brought quite a few times to tournaments. Oddly enough, I think this is the first time we see Neirea's warrior deck in this entire tournament.
Yeah, I think it's been getting banned a lot, and also sometimes he just doesn't need it to finish off his opponents.
Exactly, Druid tends to do the job. Wow.
Yeah.
And you see the Paladin at work here, just bringing out dudes, 2 mana, 1/1. Sounds ridiculous, but it is a problem.
Yeah, nothing to do here. So, fairly
Move
standard Paladin. I guess this is more eventful than usual.
Yeah, it really is. There's a lot more battle going on. Sometimes the first turns will be armor up, 1/1, armor up, 1/1. So.
And you know what? Kodo actually isn't just good against
Ragnaros in combination with Humility, but it also kills like a lot of the warrior minions, especially Acolyte of Pain. It can kill off an Acolyte of Pain without triggering off the drawing effect of the Acolyte. So that's a lot of value in itself.
Yeah, like you can combo it with stuff, you can kill. Well, for instance, that cool Taskmaster would be a possible target. Although what you really want to get is an Acolyte of Pain in clutch situations and can help with Slime from a Sludge Belcher as well. So there are a lot of circumstances where the Stampeding Kodo has more versatility than it's given credit for. It's a card that I sometimes wish was used up. Used in more matchups perhaps than just in Paladin. But it synergizes so well that Aldor Peacekeeper and Humility that it's pretty tough to see it elsewhere.
I like that play, playing Lothab instead of playing the Kodo. Like, Kodo usually can just get more value.
Yeah.
And in this type of game, the control versus control game, you want to play for value rather than tempo.
Yeah, and we're looking at the situation right now where, depending on what comes out of the Paladin Sky Golem, this could either be amazing.
Oh, Doom. Oh. Okay, this is actually one of the best ones that can come out. Like, it's not a card that's normally seen. Like, yeah.
You have to Whirlwind Execute. You can't let that live. You're going to take another 10. Well, no, you're going to take 50. Well, there's no way. You can't let that live. There's not a single way in hell. This is so bad.
You know what? I think this was, like, in combination with Water Elemental, this might have been the worst minion to come out of the Pilot Sky Golem.
Yeah, by a long shot. I can't think of anything else. That's 10 damage, and if he has to retaliate on it with a weapon, that's another 5. And if you protect it behind Deathlord, this is over. Like, he has to then Whirlwind Execute and hope for the best.
Noxious, for those of us who might not know what the Dunmon Shaman does, could you explain, its effects?
Yeah, basically it's a 5/4 minion for 4 mana for Shaman that has an overload of 2. And it has Wind Fury and a 50% chance to attack the wrong target. The thing is, when there's only one target, it can't possibly miss. So...
That's hilarious.
Yeah, this is actually ridiculous. I can't believe this is happening to...
So basically, essentially, a 6 mana value minion came out of the Piloted Sky Golem.
Exactly. It's a Pyroblast on a stick in this very circumstance. Against other decks, like an aggro deck, this wouldn't be as big of a problem. But considering the current board, I feel like... Neirea can't feel good about this. He's gonna have to take another, round of damage here. And... Wow. He is counting on his opponent not having a weapon here.
Well, I think his opponent has already used both True Silver Champions, so he knows he's not dead yet.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Tyrion comes out, and Neirea without a silence. How is he going to deal with Tyrion?
Is he going to have to Alexstrasza himself just to stay up? Or...
He has a lot of options. He could like shield Maiden or Sludge Belcher, but yeah, this is not looking good.
Fiery War Axe to trigger the Whirlwind. That gives you 2 armor. You sacrifice your 2 minions to Tyrion. You kill him. You play Sludge Belcher. There's.
And then silence kills you, and
then you're dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Alexstrasza yourself, or. Oh my goodness. He does override the Death Bite. Wow. Okay.
He basically has no good options at this point.
Yeah. He's got options, but nothing he likes to do.
Okay, this is...
He gets to coin out Sludge Belcher.
Yeah, I guess this is okay. Man.
I would not like to be in Neirea's shoes. That Dunmol Shaman was single-handedly the most meaningful card that was played, quote-unquote, during this game. And now the Slime might be taken out by that Stampeding Kodo, assuming nothing is drawn that will just win the game outright.
Wait.
Interesting.
Yeah, he can't kill it.
Yeah, he could Black Knight, but it's not really going to be worth it.
I was thinking of some combination of like Black Knight, Stampeding Kodo, kill the Sludge.
Yeah, the famed 11 mana threshold you need to reach before you can start making combo plays happen.
Yeah.
Everybody knows about that one. They all go through... Twitch chat is very, very familiar with 11 mana combos that give you lethal, and they will always remind you that you have it. They will tell you have lethal.
Famed chat lethal.
Exactly. But it's good because Twitch chat doesn't realize it's a Twitch chat lethal.
Okay, Stampede Kodo, I guess, just to get rid of the armor smith potentially and give his opponent less armor.
Yeah, it can be a pretty helpful play. I mean, Alex Strauss is going to allow Neirea to stabilize a little bit here if he lives past his turn, which he should.
The problem is, not only is Neirea in danger of dying immediately, but he's also very unfavored in the long game. He didn't draw any of his acolytes, and he doesn't have any card draw in his hand. Meanwhile, his opponent has this lay on hands right now, which will give him a full 8 cards in his hand and 9 cards in his hand next turn.
Yeah, and you know, the moment he finds Equality Consecration, the big threats that Neirea might have are going to be completely dead in his hand. Oh, he fires the first Acolyte of Pain, alright. But he does Actually, do you Alex Strauss at the opponent and try to rush him down and kill him right now, since you've seen the one lay on hands?
Yeah, that's a very good call. Not a call I would have made, but yeah, this is probably the correct choice. And you know what? Firebat doesn't have equality.
Wow,
Equality
he's got
Consecrate.
No Wild Pyromancer, no Consecration. Neirea went all in, and I think it's gonna pay off for him.
The heal bot's gonna be pretty big, but if Neirea can somehow get an activator with a Grom Hellstream, I mean, this could be the play that turns it around.
Am I bad if I would have considered Iron Beak Owling that slime and going phase for 5?
No, I think it's a viable option.
Instead of playing the shielded mini bot.
This is the more consistent play, but your play would have given a chance for lethal in the next turn.
Alright, so let's look at the board right now as it is. So 1, 2, 3, he's got 6, 7, 8, 9, 7, 8. He's got 8 damage. If you count Baron Geddon, that's 10. It's not enough for lethal, so unfortunately, Neirea is going to be in a position where he has to start trading again. Do you have to play Shield Maiden? I mean, Dr. Boom is probably more of a quote-unquote winning play.
I like Dr. Boom here. You saw that he couldn't equality consecrate your board or Wild Pyro equality your board last turn. So I think Dr. Boom gives more of a presence and more of a potential to kill your opponent immediately.
Yeah, and I think that's what he has to try to go for right now, because the amount of armor that the Armor Smith gave him is actually high enough right now that he doesn't feel like he's about to die.
Do you armor or acolyte here?
You are on 7 health, so you would be dead to a consecration. So I think you have to. Well, then again, you're still dead to consecration if you armor up. So maybe the play to win is to just drop acolyte and hope for the best. But then silence would kill you if you don't armor up. So
yeah, if you don't armor up, Neirea would just be dead to the silence. So
yeah. All right. Oh,
double consecration. Wait, that doesn't kill you. No, it doesn't kill you because there's an armor smith on the board.
Oh, right. Oh, well, wait. No, he silences the Armor Smith and he consecrates, but then the Boom Bot might kill the 2-2, in which case you don't win outright.
Yeah, that's true.
What if you Black Knight, attack phase, then consecrate? I think that's lethal.
Yeah, you silence the Armor Smith?
Wait, no, he just Black Knights, attacks phase, and then consecrates, and he wins. Oh, no, the Armor Smith again.
No, you silence the Armor Smith and consecrate twice. And you win.
Actually, I think he had lethal, because the way that the game works is that it doesn't give you armor before you take damage. So the way Firebat could have won
Wait,
now...
no. Quality consecrate?
It works either way, I mean... you know what? Firebat had guaranteed lethal with Black Knight. I'm not...
Yeah, but he also had guaranteed... No, he had guaranteed lethal with double consecrate, right?
He didn't have double consecrate. He has only one equality.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Yeah, I thought he had double consecrate for some reason.
So Firebat had guaranteed lethal with Black Knight in consecration, because the way the Armor Smith works is that it won't give you armor as you're dead. If your health reaches 0, you're just dead.
You know, that's the exact type of thing that maybe not world champion Firebat would know, but something that world champion Jeoparino player Noxious would know.
Exactly. The irrelevancies of Hearthstone are engraved in my brain forever. So there's only one charge left on that Ashbringer, so I feel like Firebat has to just try to go face and hope that Neirea finds nothing else to stabilize him. I think you even drop a Stampede Encoder for good measure.
I still think at this point that if you just play it slow, you can win.
I mean, he's favored in the long game anyway. And that Dunmo Shaman just... I can't believe that. I just cannot
changed,
believe it.
it changed the game entirely because not only did it do 10 damage, but it also forced an execute out of Neirea.
Yeah. On a leftover minion, essentially. Sludge Belcher is still another pretty good card here from Neirea.
That'll let him live. Pretty easy
Yep.
turn.
Whoa.
Oh, well.
Okay, I guess that works. He's not dead to anything but Consecration. But it... Okay. It works. It actually does work here in this
Okay,
specific case.
I see how that might be the winning play, actually. Because if your opponent can't kill it, then this Baron Gen just deals so much damage over a series of turns.
Yeah, but you're always dead to Consecration because of it. You're always dead because you kill yourself as soon as it goes off. Unless you have, like I said, a heal blob or another shield maiden that he finds. Yeah.
I think that's lethal. The Black Knight is
Yeah, the
Garen.
Black Knight is stealing the game for sure, 100% of the time. So this will be a good game for Neirea against Firebat's weird Paladin deck, which I guess that Dumo Shaman is gonna have to be. I'm gonna name that guy the MVP here. Nothing else in this game mattered as much as that Dumo Shaman.
Yeah,
I mean, hell,
it's,
anything else could have come out, and I think Neirea had a fair chance.
Yeah, even like a Pit Lord, which is usually the best card that can come out, wouldn't have been bad. It wouldn't have been that bad for Neirea. It would only do 5 damage, basically.
Yeah, the extra 5 health would have mattered a lot over the course of this game, and ultimately Firebat's gonna get a really... I mean, that Dumo Shaman's gonna carry really hard, and 3-0 for Firebat in favor, I mean, of the Paladin deck, the old school control pally just wrecking havoc on Neirea's lineup.
Yeah, Firebat, he's going to be the first player to advance to the finals.
Yeah.
And yeah, a world champion Firebat, winner of BlizzCon, obviously, and winner of the Pinnacle #1.
Yep.
He's been doing pretty well even after his BlizzCon win.
Yeah, it wasn't a fluke, is what we're trying to say here. It was not an accident. Firebat deserves his spot in top tournaments, and definitely one of the best players in the world right now. So we'll have a 10-minute break. We'll then cast Masan versus Kalento, which is going to be another highlight of the day. And then we're going to be moving on to the finals. This is after all the other round of semifinals. So don't move. 10 minutes break. We'll be back.